Today, history records the passing of a deep chapter in the book of humanity. Pope Francis, the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, is gone. The world comes to a standstill to grieve, to thank, and in deep contemplation as they bid a leader of the ages who redefined religion for millions of people across the world. Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio on 17 December 1936 in Buenos Aires, Argentina, Pope Francis led a life based on humility and service. From the days of his early life as a Jesuit priest to becoming the first pope from Latin America, his path was not only historic, it was also a transformational path. He named himself Francis after Saint Francis of Assisi, a saint of poverty, peace, and guardian of all creation. The moment he walked out onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in 2013, it was apparent. This would be a papacy different from any other. During his tenure as Holy Father, Pope Francis broke boundaries. He demanded a church that is a field hospital for the hurting, a home for the homeless, a voice for the voiceless. He emphasized problems that had been avoided by his predecessors: poverty, global warming, immigration, and the inherent dignity of every human life. He showed us that mercy is larger than judgment, and that the church needs to go beyond the walls to meet people where they are. Again and again, he reminded us, "Who am I to judge?" Words that opened doors to millions who had felt shut out of faith. In his last months, Pope Francis struggled with weakening health, but he did not waver in his purpose. Even from a hospital bed, he talked of peace, forgiveness, and the need for compassion. The news of his death sent shockwaves around the globe. In towns, villages, and cities and cathedrals and poor chapels, candles were lit, prayers were said, and tears were cried. Leaders from all parts of the world paid homage to a man who crossed religious and political lines, a genuine shepherd of the people. The funeral rites at St. Peter's Basilica were a spectacle of stunning sorrow and beauty. Thousands assembled, clergy in somber procession, world leaders in silent tribute, and regular people who merely wished to bid farewell. The mood was somber but expectant, a tribute to the life Pope Francis lived and the light he radiated. Choirs sang venerable hymns, bells tolled solemnly throughout the Vatican and the world. Flags were at half-mast across the globe as citizens of all faiths and nations watched this momentous occasion. As the last rites were being performed, the Gospels rang out in the majestic basilica, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me will live, even though they die." The humble and simple coffin, as he had commanded, bore a small cross, a Bible, and symbols of his papal odyssey. Pope Francis will be remembered for his tireless efforts to draw the Church closer to the people. He put action above doctrine, mercy above rules, and unity above division. Under his leadership, conversations about inclusion, about modern challenges, about the urgent need to care for our common home, the earth. His encyclical, Laudato Si, called for global environmental stewardship, becoming a guide for both believers and non-believers. He spoke for the refugees, the poor, and those society chose to ignore. He fought for interfaith dialogue, building bridges with Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, and others, reminding us that what makes us the same is so much more than that which makes us different. From around the world, tributes keep flowing. In Plaza de Mayo in Argentina, citizens went, lit candles, and sent flowers to mourn their son abroad. In New York's St. Patrick's Cathedral, a special mass was conducted where the faithful testified with personal anecdotes of how Pope Francis touched their lives. In Manila, the Philippines, thousands of people queued outside churches to pray and pay tribute to the Pope who once visited their land and stole their hearts. Social media was swamped with images, quotes, and memories, snapshots of a man who was not afraid to dream about a church for all. Even after death, Pope Francis teaches us that leadership is not about power, it is about service. That faith is not about exclusion, it is about love. That real greatness is not in wealth or popularity, but in humility, compassion, and benevolence. The test of the greatness of a society lies in how it treats those who are poorest and have nothing other than their destitution. Today, we commemorate not only the man, but the message he leaves behind, a message that will ring through generations. As the sun goes down tonight over the Vatican, It falls upon the life of a humble shepherd who moved among his flock. A man who heard, who forgave, who opened his arms, and who loved without condition. His voice may now be still, but his lessons will go on to whisper to the hearts of millions. Rest in peace, Pope Francis. Your travels ended here on the earth,